and welcome to this episode of Study Saturday here on International Yankee English. I post Study Saturday videos every single week, and for the month of July and most of June, I believe, I had a series called More on Monday. I posted my More on Monday video from last week or this week yesterday instead of on Monday, and then I have one more coming up in 2 days on Monday, and that will wrap up the More on Monday vocabulary series that I have started. And then I will take a month break from posting twice a week, and then I will post again somewhere in September 2 times a week with a new series and a new topic. If you would like more details on what my channel and my online English learning community will look like in the next few months, then check out the video that I posted on Monday, my big announcements channel updates. Let's get into today's video. Today is a precursor to next week's Study Saturday lesson, and next week I will be collaborating with some other YouTubers, other native English YouTubers. We will look at some of the differences. Essentially, we have 2 main categories, North American and British. And we have native speakers from so many different countries, and I'm very much so looking forward to the collaboration video that will be up on my channel next Saturday. But for today, we're going to warm up by looking at some different dialects and differences in Native American English. So you may have seen some articles going around recently. I've seen them in years past as well, but recently I have seen this one article with several different pictures showing a map of the United States and the different words or phrases used to explain the same thing in different parts of the country. So I'm going to go through some of those pictures with you guys. I am linking below the link for the article that the Washington Post did on this, as well as the location on Facebook where I found these pictures as well. So the very first one I'm going to put up. Here we see that there are 2 different ways to call these little bugs. I'll post a picture for you. I would call these lightning bugs. And if we look closely at the picture that there is in the diagram, you see that the bluish purple area, so California, Alaska, West Coast, and the northern part of the United States, as well as most of what is called New England, the region where I come from, they actually call these fireflies. I come from Connecticut, and there is some dabbles of yellow, orange throughout New England, but down in the south and in areas of Texas and the Midwest, they say lightning bugs instead of fireflies, according to this. And I actually grew up calling them lightning bugs myself. Perhaps it was because my father came from South Carolina originally. I'm not sure, but my mother also always called them lightning bugs, and she was born and raised in Connecticut as well. So that was an interesting one. Didn't agree that everybody in Connecticut says fireflies, but it is partly yellow, so I think it's somewhat accurate. The next one I will put up here on the screen for you. You can see that the southern part, as well as again New England, says one term, and then the northern part, as well as New York, and it looks like parts of Connecticut and maybe some of Pennsylvania, say another thing. And the 2 different words, I will show you a picture. This is what it is describing. And you will see then, if you go back to that map, that the northern part says garbage can and the southern part says trash can. And I actually say that this is partially correct. If you look very closely at the picture, you'll see that Connecticut is in the garbage can area. I did grow up saying both, but I would usually say just garbage, throw that wrapper in the garbage. Or I would say in the trash can, but I wouldn't generally say garbage can. I would say garbage or less likely but possible trash can. So I would say this is a pretty accurate picture of the map regarding my terminology as a Connecticut Yankee. In this picture, you will see the Facebook group where I got these maps from, so if you're interested in this kind of stuff, you can join this group called Silly Linguistics Community on Facebook. And the link that was on the Facebook group where I found these pictures with the maps was from a page called 5 Bravo Media News Company. Here we have a map from the Washington Post, and it was based on studies done by linguists. And here they show the different regions. They've given numbers, and I would say that it's probably pretty accurate. You see that the teal turquoise color is the North Midland in the middle of the country, and then again there's a little bit in the northeast covering most of what is Connecticut. And I would say that that's pretty accurate from all of the Americans that I've met. I find that Connecticut's speakers tend to speak similar to people in the Midwest somewhere. It's not a very strong dialect, whereas if you go a little bit northeast to Boston or down a little southwest to Long Island in New York, you will hear very different ways of speaking than where I come from in Connecticut. So we see that there are, even within New England, which is a very small section of the United States, the oldest area in the United States though, you have some different dialects. So you have Eastern New England. This is where you have the Boston accent and some of Rhode Island, where R's become kind of a ah sound and AR becomes AH. These are the Kapacas. That's what it says here. So that is also can stretch up towards Maine as well. It is a certain area of the United States where they drop the R's after the A's and pronounce an H. I did go to grad school in Boston, and I kind of fell in love with this dialect. It is a very special form of native US English. So here we will see a few different versions as well. You have Boston Urban, which takes that Eastern New England dialect a little bit further. There's a certain part, the Southie dialect, it's from a certain area within Boston, so it takes it even further. And then you have Western New England, which is outside of the eastern part of Massachusetts, the western area. And then also Connecticut and some parts of New Hampshire, Vermont, I believe, would have this type of accent. It is maybe similar to certain parts of Eastern New England or Boston Urban, but it's not so distinct. It's a little bit less accented. And then if you go just a bit further west from where I come from, you have in the Hudson Valley, the area where the Dutch settled. They had an influence in the way that people spoke. Interestingly enough, the sitting area that's in front of your doorstep in this dialect of US English is called a stoop, and we do say a stoop in Connecticut, or at least my family did, which is kind of interesting because I live in the Netherlands now and I see the linguistic connection to the Dutch language there. Okay, another word that's interesting to look at is what you put on your feet to do sports. I will show you a picture, and most of the country you will see is in red, and they call these tennis shoes or tenna shoes. In Hawaii, it is noted that they just say shoes, which is kind of funny. And then I've also heard of the two cities, not states, but cities that they pointed out here in this map, Chicago and Cincinnati. They just called them gym shoes. I've heard that before as well. But you will see all of New England and parts of Pennsylvania, which is kind of New England-y. And surprisingly enough, the southern tip of Florida, they say sneakers. And I forever am confused why most of the country where I come from calls sneakers tennis shoes. Why? You don't just use them for tennis. It makes no sense to me. You use sneakers for sports. So sport shoes or gym shoes, I can completely understand. Or the Hawaiians just saying shoes, fine. But tennis shoes for sports that go way beyond tennis, why would you call them that? Sneakers all the way for me. Another one that's controversial, I do not know, statistically speaking, what is the most common name for this. I will show you a picture. This is like Coca-Cola or Sprite. Some people also call it a fizzy drink. I think that is an informal way of saying that. But the most formal way of saying it is a soft drink. If you are in a restaurant, you will order a soft drink beverage. But normally people don't go around saying, "Can I have a soft drink, please?" You will see the red in this map, so California, in parts of Hawaii, Alaska, Florida. Randomly, I think that might be Illinois, but I'm not sure. I'm not so good at American geography, to be honest. And then you'll see all of New England, most of New York, going down a little bit more south into Pennsylvania and Maryland and parts of Virginia perhaps are red, and they say soda. Soda is absolutely what I call this drink. You'll see in the north, the blue parts say pop. I've seen that a lot in popular culture, in television shows, for example. And then you have some parts of the US that just say Coke. Some parts of Texas say that. The first time I heard it was when I had lived in Dallas, Texas for a while. I heard some of my friends calling it Coke, and they were talking about a different kind of soda that wasn't Coca-Cola, and I was asking them, why are you calling that Coke? That's not Coca-Cola. And they said, well, any kind of drink like this with bubbles is Coke. And I said, no, it's not. Coke is a brand. That's soda that you're drinking, and that's not Coke. Coke is this one. So it's a little interesting to see the different parts and the variations. This one is one that I actually grew up saying in multiple ways. I will just show a picture first. So this is basically when you collect the things that you have at home and you decide to sell them either on your front yard or in your garage with the door open or in your driveway, somewhere around your house. And you welcome people, neighbors, friends to come, and they can purchase your secondhand items for a low price, and you bargain. And this, where I come from in Connecticut, you will see that Connecticut is mostly red. There's just part of Connecticut, which by the way is the third smallest state in the United States, so it's not very big geographically, but there's a little part of western Massachusetts and most of Connecticut that is red, and we call it a tag sale, and I can 100% vouch for that. The most common phrase I would use for this kind of event is a tag sale. We call it a tag sale. You buy those from the dollar stores, those little tags, you put the tags on your items, and people come and buy them from your house. It makes sense. Okay, this one is a fun one. As you guys know, I also lived in Boston, and I have some friends from New England, so this was really interesting. I will show you a picture. Most of the United States says what I grew up saying, and you can see basically almost unanimously all of the East Coast, and then the South and most of the middle parts of the country will say a water fountain. That is what I call it as well, a water fountain. And on the West Coast in California and parts of Michigan and some other parts in the middle part of the country, they say a drinking fountain, which makes sense, but I just think that water comes out of it, so I prefer what I grew up with, which was water fountain. But then there are two very special areas, parts of, I think that's Michigan, and then of course in Rhode Island and kind of southeast Massachusetts, I believe also in Boston, they say bubbler, or better yet, bubbla. So I have some friends from Rhode Island or even the eastern parts of Connecticut that say bubbler for a water fountain. So this picture of the map is very accurate in my opinion. Okay, my last one for you guys. I think you're going to enjoy this. This is for you plural. Some languages like German and Dutch, and I think Spanish, I'm starting to really forget the Spanish that I once knew. There is a word for you plural if you're talking to multiple people directly. This is something that really marks a southern accent in the United States, where they say you all combined as one word, and they say y'all. Y'all come back now, you hear? That's kind of a southern, my very poor attempt at a southern accent, and that is very common in that area of the United States. And you will see almost the rest of the country is blue, so y'all was in purple and the rest in blue, where they would just say you guys. But again, this last picture is accurate. I would say you guys, and I am from Connecticut where it says we say you guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this video today about different dialects in the United States. If you enjoyed this kind of video, please let me know in the comment section below. Next week, as I mentioned, I will be collaborating with some other YouTubers, and we will be looking at the different native Englishes, British English versus American English. So I'm really excited about that. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on Monday for more on Monday. Bye.